BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. You think you know your stuff? Well, get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200K. $200,000. It's ridiculous. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in the action. Bet online. The game starts here. So the opened with backstage footage from AW All Out. And this was very, very well done. Okay, because, bro, like I said, people have not been watching their show lately. So they opened with a very good narration, a shot in black and white, with Moxley and those guys. Basically, they're showing them backstage after they had done their thing with Danielson. And Moxley is explaining why he did what he did. This was a very, very good promo and very well done to open the show. It was like it filled you in the storyline. Moxley explained exactly why he did everything he did. And it's explaining and still teasing what's going on where he says it's not your company anymore. Like this. I thought this was very well done. All right. Because he talked about the Blackpool Comic Club. He did everything. He explained everything. All right. So straight from that, his line was, he chose diplomacy, failed, but now he's choosing war. Okay. So then they showed Darby skating into the parking area and entering the venue. All right. This is where, okay, well, all right. So they showed Darby coming in. And basically Darby said, I hear somebody's looking for me. And so they start off showing Moxley, explain everything with the Blackpool Combat Club. And let's not forget last week that Moxley called out Darby. Now here comes Darby. That's going to be a focal point of the show. I thought this opening was very good. What did you think of this?
Very good. I thought the same thing. I thought, wow, a recap.
Right. Very done with the sound. They had music playing like a sound very, very similar to what WWE does.
Right.
Like I said, okay, maybe they're finally watching that show and taking some of the things
and listening to what people are saying, bro.
Right, exactly.
We're saying it and their own fans are saying it.
Right.
Okay, right. After a while, you have to say, hey, if we're listening to our fans, maybe we need to listen to this too,
Right.
But I want to find out exactly who's helping him book this stuff because it felt like a very different show. There was a lot of promos. Right. There was a lot of backstage stuff that was good.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
let's go over this.
And it took about 15 minutes before the first match came in. But I liked the Moxley promo. It was good.
So then they go to. So then Tony introduces Cage. Cage comes out with all his crew, and basically, Cage said that AW Trio titles were stolen. Christian recalled Killswitch grabbing him by the throat for a chokeslam, and Christian said he looked in his eyes and saw what he's been waiting to see. Christian said Killswitch is a monster and a killer, and added that Killswitch belongs to him. So the Luchasaurus chant broke out, and Christian said his name is Killswitch. And Christian said he was on his way to sign the contract at All Out, but he decided it was not the right time. Christian said he will beat Danielson so bad that he'll wish his wife Brie was the one with CTE, so she wouldn't be able to comprehend what embarrassment when he was his champion. Christian declared that he's the reigning, defending, undisputed next-end AW World Champion, and it's a patriarchal meeting. I came in proud to pan the crowd and spotted Kip Sabian standing in the front row like a mark. So this is AW. Oh, all right. So AW, they kept their. How interesting is this, Conan? This actually, that rating right there, okay, almost proves my point. And that this week of their show, look at that linear line. They kept their audience the entire time, correct?
Yep.
What do they mostly have on this show? A lot of interview segments explaining storylines.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even though, like I said, bro, the numbers probably might have been better if they would have had better actual matchups for these matches than they did. There were no marquee matchups on this show. You know what I'm saying?
But the matches were good.
Okay, right. So, and they weren't super long, but still. So basically, Cage.
It's just astonishing to me. Every week we see the same thing. We see a huge first number and almost always a big drop after.
Yeah, but that's the number at 9 o'clock. That's not even the rating for Dynamite because the show hasn't started yet.
Well, I'm talking about that 8 o'clock.
No, that 888. That's people that are still watching the previous show and are tuning in at the top of the hour. That's when that number is for the top of the hour.
And that I understand.
So the actual first segment is like around 700,000 people. Like the 15 minutes of the show, you had 700,000, which is basically that's how many people watch your first segment.
But still, the first number gets added into their average.
Yeah, that's true. Correct. Okay, which is why it's inflated almost, but their actual number that means something is 8:15 to 8:30 because, bro, if they drop off after the first 15 minutes of your show, you have a problem, right? So then they didn't really drop off that much. The first
no, because it was an interesting show.
Right. So you had good characters on to start off with. So this is Powell's POV. A good start to the show with Moxley addressing the attack on Bryan Danielson is probably a little confusing for casual fans who didn't see all out because he couldn't play the suffocation footage for obvious reasons. And Cage's promo was solid and was nice to remind people that his contract is still in play, and they also did a good job of setting up Ospreay and Fletcher as a tag team gauntlet match. All right. Any comment on this? Anything so far?
Yeah, I agree with Don Callis. He's not interesting at all. He acts like a babyface. Why would Will Ospreay do a favor for him, even though he actually did it for Kyle Fletcher? Right. But at least they're trying to explain why Will would teaming up with Kyle Fletcher, right?
Right.
Because it's like a favor that he asked him for. Man, I would, if I were Will Ospreay, I would say, as long as you're with Don Callis, I'm not doing it. But at least they tried to explain it.
All right. Now, this next segment, I'm going to explain to you the issues that they have with storytelling and how the announcers are absolutely brutal. Okay? No offense to those guys, but Jack Perry shows up in the back in a truck. Okay? This is a scapegoat van, whatever the thing is. He gets out, and they show him walking from the truck through the back area, the loading deck back there, and then they cut a camera shot to the entranceway, waiting for Perry to come out. All right? Now, dude, the reason you do this is because, okay, here comes the Jack Perry character. We started off the show with the Moxley character. He explained his storyline. We had Christian Cage come out. He explained his storyline.
I just want to say this. I thought this was kind of weird because why would Christian not want to wrestle him? Why would he say, I'll do it?
He's saving it. He can cash it. It's like the money in the bank thing.
If I'm getting a chance now, I'm taking it now.
Okay, right. So, but he kind of explained why he wasn't taking the chance. So, bro, Commander and Alex Abrahantes made their entrance at Private Party and Isaiah Cassidy. And this was kind of weird because they started off the show with Leo Rush and then Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy. The three of them looked like they could be brothers. Like you had a singles match and then a tag match with three characters that all look the same, basically. Their opponents were already in the ring.
And do similar high-flying stuff, too, yeah.
Right. Their opponents were in the ring. So I don't even know who they were going to be wrestling. It's like, who are the guys in the ring? A bunch of jobbers or something, right? So the faction comes down, Moxley, Shafir.
Oh, no,
Claudio.
you got to, I think their name, listen to this. Listen to what their name is. Spanish Announce Project. Okay?
SAP. Well, thank you. You'd have to see this match with the Spanish Announce Project because Moxley and all them came and beat everybody up, and Commander was in there too. All right. No, I'm sorry. This is just detail. Marina Shafir choked out Commander, and she choked him out for like 2 minutes.
Right. He would have been dead.
I tweeted, is Commander dead? The announcers never mentioned it. It was just like they're just sitting there, and like Moxley, I think, to make light of it, I think Moxley, but this is in the background, you couldn't see it. So she finally lets him go. I think Moxley walked up to him and checked to see if he had a pulse.
Yeah, because he did go up to him. Yeah. And it was like, if the guy's already out, why are you still choking him? It looks so stupid.
It's like, she just choked until he passed out and just dropped him then.
Right. It's more effective.
She just, the whole time he died.
Right. And
looked like he would die. Like,
one of my guilty pleasures is watching Abraham Abrahantes, who's the most uncool guy for a manager that I've seen in that promotion, and that's covering a lot of space, coming out and acting like a geek, like a male cheerleader on bath salts. But this time it was even funnier because now, even though he's only managing Commander, he came out, I think Private Party was with him, right? And so he came out dancing. It was ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so then Pac grabbed the mic and did the talking here, said they were patient, but ultimately enough is enough. Pac said the company's broken. Pac said what happened on Saturday was inevitable, and so were they. And Pac said he's been lost for a long time, but now he has something to believe in. Pac said he has a purpose and said diplomacy's failed. This company is ours. Okay, so that's Moxley.
Kind of repeated what Moxley said.
That's fine though. This is a thread. They had a thread. The Moxley's faction was a thread. They started off the show explaining there's a thread throughout the show. Good writing. Okay,
right.
I know. So Darby Allin makes his entrance to skateboard and just comes right to the ring and says, "Hey, somebody's looking for him right here." Okay, that's what his character do. So Moxley came out with Marina. Moxley said he didn't know what Alan thought he saw or what he heard, but nothing has changed between them. And Alan cut him off and said there was a lot he wanted to talk about. And Alan said both came from nothing. Said he was a homeless dishwasher, doesn't take anything for granted. And said AEW gave him everything. And Alan said he looked for a hero during his first year in wrestling. He said whoever he found a hero, that person showed how fake they were. Alan said Moxley didn't change for anyone. That's why he always wanted to be just like him. And Alan knew that Moxley still works in high school gyms and independent shows because he loves the industry. Alan said they first met at an independent show, and Alan said he lost a match, but he gained confidence he belonged to the ring with someone like Moxley. And Alan said that what Moxley did to Brian is something he would never do to someone he considered family, and now he wants to be nothing like Moxley. Alan asked Moxley what he wants. Moxley knew that Alan is a title shot at Grand Slam, and Moxley said that match won't happen because the world champion is indisposed. Moxley told Alan that he's not ready to be a world champion, and Moxley told Alan he's going to need to hand him over his title match to him. Alan asked Moxley if Moxley was dropped on his head or he'd been drinking again. Alan said Moxley didn't earn it. Alan told Moxley if he wants it so bad, he should do something about it. So Moxley challenged Alan to put his AEW World Championship match on the line at AEW Grand Slam. Moxley said Alan will never be AEW World Champion and said he doesn't like having to say that, but Alan has no idea what's going on. Moxley said the title shot will be his, and he said he would teach Alan a lesson the hard way. And Alan accepted. Alan said if Moxley wants to burn AEW to the ground, he shouldn't be surprised when he pulls him into the fire. And Alan shoved the mic into Moxley's chest and dropped it. Then Moxley kept Shafir cool and then bowed to Alan before leaving the ring. Let me read Chappelle's POV first. I don't want to get your take on this. In most cases, I'd complain about a wrestler agreeing to a stipulation where he puts a title shot on the line and gets nothing in return. It actually feels true to the Alan character to accept a challenge without caring about what's in it for him. I like Moxley's cryptic comments implying there's something bigger happening that Alan is unaware of. Good stuff. What'd you think of this?
Well, first of all, why would Alan give up a title shot just to go up against Moxley? And why is Danielson going to wrestle?
No, we're going to talk about it later. No.
Okay, all right.
To make this, to sense the absurdity of this, we got to go through it.
All right. Okay. So this is what I thought. The best promo on that show is MJF because he's so entertaining and he's in a league by himself. But the most credible, believable promos are done by Darby Allin. I thought this was a great promo by Darby Allin. I thought
Moxley.
I'm going to get to that. And I thought Moxley did a great promo too. Okay. This was really good. I also like the fact that, they had Marina there as this, mean mugging this guy all the time. And at the end, he had to tell her, don't do nothing to him. Bro, Darby never, ever once even looked at her, which he shouldn't. His whole thing was with Moxley, and I'm very interested in what's going to happen.
I am too. I'm very interested in the Moxley thread, but I want to say, I like this. Okay. Alan, like Jason Powell said, because I read Jason Powell's POV, and Alan's character is kind of like a guy that would accept the challenge, but there's nothing in it for him.
Right.
This would have been more interesting if Darby said, "Okay, why should I give you this shot?
Right.
What do you got for you? What's it like here? I think that would be a key character for him too.
Right. If I win, will you start getting into a car normally instead of the back? Nothing.
Well, just saying, bro, now you can book a match between the two. Now both people have something at risk, which makes it more interesting. So you don't know which guy's going to go over. You know what I'm saying? So all right.
Nothing hairy on him getting into the back of the Jeep instead of a normal seat.
Harry, you can chime in now. We got Harry Ruiz here we're going to interrupt the AW Dynamite review for our Mexican wrestling segment.
Hi, fellas. Good to chime in. I was actually Googling something while you guys were talking, so I wasn't. Last part I heard was where Conan was mentioning Darby and Mox doing a good job with the promo, which I agree with.
All right. What did you think?
Well, my question is that Disco brings up a good point. Why is Darby putting something on the line and Moxley isn't? And I said Darby should have asked that if he wins, if Moxley will start getting into a car like a normal person and not in the back of a Jeep.
Yeah, that was definitely interesting. When it popped up on the screen, I was like, why is he sitting back there? It was like, I didn't get it. And I mean,
that was you know why? Because AEW's always known for awkward outs. Like it's all big, and then the last part is he jumps in the back of a Jeep.
And heck, I'm pretty sure you guys saw the opening of the show. I thought it was a fantastic shot where they had Moxley walking and then Brian is being carried out while he just walks by him. I thought that was incredible. I love that open by the show and how they had Darby walking into the arena. And I love the way that they did the storytelling there.
Harry, we have spoken. You listen to our show and our critics
all the time.
We get overly criticized because all we ever hear is if we say a bad thing about AEW. That we've been putting over the show from the get-go. We've had a couple critical things to say, but bro, what is one thing? The one main thing we said they need to be doing more packages explaining the storylines. This whole first hour of the show was a lot of interviews, packages, just an 8-minute match and a 10-minute match, not long match. We had time for bro. The show usually has dips and stuff. This show stayed the same throughout the whole thing. Heck, that's how you're supposed to do a show. Recap everything so people know what's going on. They're not turning the channel when you're recapping things because they haven't been watching in a while. You know?
Didn't it take them like 15 minutes for the first match today? And it's usually the first thing that we see the moment that the show starts, because they had 3 segments where it was the recap package on the Moxley Bryan thing, and then they had Christian and the Patriarchy in the ring, and then they had Ospreay with Don Callis backstage. I love that part of it. It was I enjoyed it.
I did too. Like I said, it's oh, by the way, what was the number, Joe?
710.
7 is up. Well, go figure.
Right.
They start, like, you know, I mean, this is the type of show that we say they should be writing like every week, and like the number goes up, and like we're stuck in the 90s, whatever.
You would hope more after a pay-per-view, right? But at the same time, it's like,
but you're almost up 10%.
And not that we give, because at the end of the day, we were right. But out of all those people that, you know, threw shade for 5 years, not one of them has come up and go, you know what? You guys were right. But anyways.
So next, Alex Marvez interviews Christopher Daniels. But Nigel McGuinness showed up and said he needed a war with Tony Khan, and McGuinness told Daniels to trust him because Khan would want to hear what he had to say. Okay. So in A Tale of Two Shows, okay, because the first hour of the show was actually all stuff that we generally liked, a couple little hiccups, things, whatever. But now Nigel McGuinness is in the ring with a microphone and said he had to get something off his chest. He said Darby Allin put his title match on the line against Moxley Grand Slam. That means there won't be an AEW World title match. McGuinness assumed that Danielson was in an iron lung and was gasping for air just like Roberts was when he choked him out with his own tie. McGuinness said he believes AEW World Champion should at least compete in events such as Grand Slam. McGuinness pulled out a contract out of his back pocket and spoke about how he's had to watch Danielson's career from the sidelines for so many years. McGuinness said it had been an afterthought in a postscript to career that should have been his. And McGuinness said Danielson's afraid of him and of the one match that everybody wants to see. McGuinness said Tony Khan isn't afraid and knows a money match when he sees one. McGuinness held up the contract and announced that he will face Danielson at Grand Slam. Crowd popped. Excalibur said Danielson needed to be cleared to compete. Then McGuinness guaranteed that Oasis would play him to the ring at Arthur Ashe Stadium, and McGuinness questioned whether Danielson would join him for the final countdown or if she'd seen the final match of the American Coward. McGuinness said the ball was in Danielson's court and then tossed the mic. I mean, who thought of this? Because I'm like, dude, it's like, shouldn't Bryan Danielson just be selling the beating for the things? Like, you know, I'm like, they're challenging the guy to a match, and they're going, well, if he can compete, he can come. Well, then why does he wrestle Allen if he can compete? It's just this is went off the rails for me. And I'm just like, this makes no sense. And let us not forget, okay, that Tony Khan actually tweeted, okay, about a year ago, or maybe a year ago, that how silly it was for Jinder Mahal to think he had a claim to a world title match. Okay? Now, let me ask you this. Who has a better claim to a world title shot? Jinder Mahal, a former world champion at WWE that was off TV for 6 or 7 months or a year or whatever, or Nigel McGuinness? This is absurd.
I'd say Jinder. Nigel hasn't been active in a decade. Never.
So we can bring that up, you know? I mean, like, you literally made fun of WWE for Jinder having a title shot. You're giving one to Nigel McGuinness? Like, come on. What did you think of this, Conan?
I just thought it was weird, you know. Darby Allin isn't getting his Grand Slam match because Daniel's indisposed. That was the word that was used. Yet he's going to fight McGuinness. What?
This is a throwback. This is a throwback again, DI, like how Tony had to run Punk Joe. Nigel and Bryan had a big Ring of Honor feud in like 2005. That's what this is.
Dude, but the thing is, they're having trouble selling tickets for the show.
Yeah.
Like, this is your go-home announcement for that show? Nigel McGuinness maybe versus Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
And not Darby Allin.
I'm like... Yeah.
And now Darby Allin's in a match where he puts something up, but the other guy doesn't. Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. and join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.